Hi guys, welcome back to a pretty fun and colourful episode today. I am going to create a rainbow road with Mario, Bowzer and our Resi Lace. So let me get started and I'll tell you what I'm working with today. So we've picked up these Hot Wheels little characters. So we've got Mario and we've got Bowzer. I'm actually going to be inserting them on the top of our Resi Lace layer today. But to create our rainbow road, we've got our rainbow metallic colours. So we're starting with our magic violet, we've got our magic blue, we've got our deep green, dark yellow, our magic orange and our scarlet red. I have mixed up a batch of our Resi Lace, so if you do want to know some info about basically measuring and mixing, please refer to our video for that. And around the rainbow itself, I'm going to put like a glitter background. So we're going to use our unicorn large glitter. Aside from that, got our little dispenser cups, art stirrers so I can make sure I mix everything in. And aside from that, we have our canvas. So I haven't done a seal up coat or anything on this with the canvas itself. I know that my epoxy will adhere to it because there is a coating that most art suppliers will supply the canvas with these days. So basically I'm going to use this board straight up and pour my Resi Lace straight onto it. So let's get started. Right, just putting my nitrile gloves on. But I just wanted to quickly note too that I have my canvas board. I have it lifted on just some old takeaway containers because if I do spill a little bit of resin off to the side, I want it to drip under and I don't want it to stick to my drop sheet that I've got it sitting on directly. So that's why I've lifted it up. I have checked if it's level as well. Do always make sure that the board you're working on is level because the resin will self-level, but only to the surface it's sitting on. Okay, so I am going to divide my Resi Lace up into our 6 little cups for our 6 individual colours and leave a little bit left in my actual container here because we are going to use that for our Resi Unicorn Clear. Now we only use a small amount of each of these colours because we're basically going to do a rainbow strip through from the bottom end of the board to the middle where we'll be attaching our Mario in this third up here. So let me get dividing and pouring. Okay, so I've got our, this is our Resi Glitter Fine. This is the Unicorn Clear Large. And I'm going to add a fair amount of scoops of that to my main mixture here of Resi Lace because I want the bulk of my background to be glittery. And what does show through will be the white background of the canvas. So it'll just be like a sparkly paler colour with the white background. So I'm going to mix that in. Make sure I give it a good stir through. And that's our glittery colour for basically around where the rainbow road will be. So I'm happy with that. Now I'm going to add my rainbow metallic colours to our little cups here. So we'll start with our magic violet. And we'll work our way through the rainbow. Basically just need 1 little scoop in each because I'm only working with a small amount of resin here. I'm just making sure all my powder is mixed through thoroughly. Move on to our magic blue next. Next, our deep green. Then we've got our dark yellow. Next up, magic orange. And last but not least, our scarlet red. Okay, so we have all of our rainbow metallic colours mixed up now. The next step is to coat majority of our board with our Resi Lace, which has our unicorn glitter in it, and then add our rainbow roads. Now I've applied it, so I'm actually going to use my hands with my nitrile gloves on and actually spread it out so I have a nice even coating over the top of this canvas board. And I want to make sure I've got good even coverage, so I am going right to the edge of my canvas board too. Sparkly. Just getting down at eye height just to check and make sure I've got coverage over everything. Sometimes with the gloss of our resins, it's hard to see, especially over a white background, if we've actually covered all portions of our backing board. And in this case, the board is our canvas board. So I just want to make sure that everything is covered So that way when it self-levels, it's going to have a nice even finish. Okay, I'm happy with that. I am going to give it a mist with isopropyl, but I'm going to change gloves. So just a nice even mist with our pure Resi isopropyl. And the reason I want to do that is I want to pop any bubbles that I've just made by moving it around with my gloves on top of the board there. And that will enable us to get ready to add our rainbow in. Okay, rainbow colours, here we come. We are starting with our scarlet red. And my aim is to come up to about 1/3 of the way on the board. So I'll start wider and then we'll bring it through to the centre. Okay, now our magic orange. And our dark yellow. And deep green. Our magic blue. So with the Resi Lace, you'll notice that it's a lot thicker than majority of your casting resins and even some of your art resins. And Resi Lace was designed to be able to basically capture and trap a heap of bubbles. So when you do want to achieve your whitewash in your ocean scenes, you get some really good cellular work happening. So Resi Lace Part A is very thick to start with. But I like using it on these canvases because it enables me to keep my colour positions really well. So you can see as I'm pouring in, my colours are sort of staying here, they're sort of spreading out a little bit, and I'm going to help that and aid that along in a second after we pour our last colour, which is our magic violet. And once we've got all this on, I'll be able to manipulate it and move it with a silicone spatula. So the working time is a little bit less than your usual resins. But it does depend on ambient temperature. Ambient temperature plays a massive key to when you're sort of working with your resins. Usually the pot life is, you know, about your sort of 20 to 30 minutes. But again, if it's a really hot day and you're working, you know, outside in Queensland in a shed and you aren't able to control your temperatures and keep them around that sort of 23-degree mark, then obviously you're going to have to work a lot quicker with your resin. So now I've laid all my colours down, I actually want to spread them out and blend them together. So I also do have a silicone spatula here. These guys can just be found online. Sometimes your local supermarkets can have them. But I do like to use the rounded edge one when I'm using it for art purposes. So have a look at this. So I really want to spread it out across my bottom layer, which is my glitter. I have some of that glitter coming through, which is really cool. And I'm going to wipe in between each colour because at the moment I don't want too much of a transition between the colours. Okay, I've got my main positioning for my rainbow now. I think this is pretty cool. With lace, the advantages are you can get a bit of texture out of it as it's sort of thickening up. So I can get in there and create texture in my metallic by putting patterns or like line marks in it. I can give it a nice mist with isopropyl, which I will as well because I do want to ensure that I have gotten rid of any of the bubbles as I'm working with it and moving it around. And that can sometimes texture up a little bit of the metallic as well. But otherwise my plan is to just make sure I've got some textured lines in it and just running the whole way because it's metallic. And at the moment I don't have a massive cellular effect happening, which I didn't actually want in this piece. to be able to achieve that full cellular effect. Usually you'll use an opaque tint with it, so something like our White Horizon or our Black Abyss, and that tint sits heavier. You also aim for to be able to use like basically air, whether it's through a straw, hairdryer or heat gun, to push that layer across your bottom layer. And because I'm not sort of pushing it across with the heat, I'm just basically gliding it along. I don't have full cells occurring, which is fine because this piece wasn't aimed to be an ocean wash scene or anything like that. So that's the reason why we don't have a great deal of selling after, especially after I've given it a mist with our isopropyl. But I'm just getting some, just making sure I've got some lines in here, working with our metallics. Give it a little bit of texture. Cool, got a little bit more detail in my metallic there. So now comes the fun part. I'm going to take my gloves off. I'm going to take our little Mario out and position him first. Hey Mario! Okay, because this Resi Lace is still wet, if I'm just going to sit Mario in it, his wheels will stay stuck in it, and as this cures after a 24-hour time period, he will be stuck in this position. So I don't want to move him around too much. I want to make sure my position is perfect. But basically I'm going to put him at the end of the trail of the rainbow, so he's come through on that rainbow road and he's still going to be moving forward. I just want to make sure we're sort of central to the board as well. I'll stick him in place right there. Now, there's a chase going on Rainbow Road, and we have Bowzer. So we're going to position Bowzer, but Bowzer also has a couple of weapons. I didn't show you those before. So we've got Bowzer. Bowzer's been throwing some little bananas, and his turtle. So we're going to position these guys too, just to basically keep it really tight in theme with the Rainbow Mario Kart. All right, so we're going to put Bowzer trailing behind, and I've chosen, because he's sort of yellow and greens, to put him in the contrasting colour so he doesn't sort of blend in too much. So we're going to put him here, ready to take that Rainbow Road. And he's thrown his turtle too. He attempted to hit Mario, but he didn't because Mario's too good. So we're going to put the turtle about here, and we've got a couple of bananas. So we've got one that Bowzer's missed. We're going to sort of put it down the back here. And as Mario, he's tried to throw another one in the path of potentially Bowzer as he comes up closer. So we have our Mario scene. So I will literally leave this here because I know my board is nice and level, and I will let it cure for 24 hours. Then it is ready to stand it up, use it as an art piece. I do think these vibrant colours look super funky, but using our metallic range and the glitters with lace is a totally different effect with lace. So you can use lace as art resins. It doesn't just have to be for your ocean scenes and creating your whitewash. And it's one of my favourite sort of art resins to work with. Being that bit thicker, it enables me to manipulate and keep position a bit easier. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's little fun canvas. And remember, if you've got any questions, leave them in the comments below. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, and we'll see you next time.